Rock music, courtesy of StreamYard. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for this special episode, we have a very special guest from the Cheers Big Ears podcast. We have the Chad. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Cheers. Thank you very much for having me on. It's very, very appreciated to be a guest. You're popping my podcast guesting cherry. So
Oh, sweet. Which, when you sent me that message, I was like, nah, surely you've been on a guest podcast.
no, this is the first.
Oh, well, I'm so glad I can be your first.
Just be gentle and make sure you whisper into my ear.
I will ever so quietly and soft.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, well, guys, we're going to be chatting with Chad, and we're going to be talking about the latest news in pop culture. About, as I said, UK has stopped Microsoft deal. A Netflix record is broken, and niccage is Superman, and plenty more. So, guys, you know what comes up next before we start the show?
Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
So, Chad, tell everyone who doesn't know about your show. Like, you guys have been going since 2018.
Yes, 2018, but we're only just about to tomorrow on Sunday, the 61st episode. So we should be up in the 200s.
Well, COVID would have helped.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So I started in 2018. I always wanted to do a podcast, and then I talked to my original co-host about doing one, and Cheers Big Ears was formed. And it was just basically the conversations you had at the pub with your mates over a couple of drinks and just recorded. And that was the whole premise of the show. Adult beverages, not so adult conversations. And
I do love that's a really good tagline.
Thank you. I'm still surprised I got the name Cheers Big Ears. Actually, like, it still blows me away that hadn't been taken. But
that's a big thing. Is like when you start, you're like, fuck, everything's going to be taken already. And then one of the worst things about podcasting is that there's 5,000 podcasts, but only 300 of them are actually active.
Yeah, and the ones that you find in your name that you like, you come up with the name, you think this is going to be it. Nobody's going to have this name. I've got the most original idea on the planet, and then you look it up and it's there, but they haven't done an episode in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly right. You're like, well, can I just take it? Like, I have rights.
Oh, I thought about it, but then I stuck with Cheers Big Ears, and then COVID hit, and we couldn't record. And at that point, I hadn't really kind of gotten into the Zoom and the remote recording and doing the video like versions of the podcast. And I think it was like nearly 700 days between one episode and the next. And then, then we started to get, and then I had a new co-host. We started to build some more episodes, and then life gets in the way. And so there was another little break. Yeah. Life got in the way. We had a little break, and now then we're back, and this has been the kind of the best run. And now I've got I moved in with my girlfriend, and we've got a place. Thank you. And so now I have a space to record, where kind of before I didn't, and I was relying on other people's spaces to be able to record and taking my equipment there. So yeah, we should be up in the 200s, but alas, we're only at 61.
No,
but I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it at all.
No, that's good, man. And that's probably the most thing is that you've stayed consistent and you've kept going. because it was so like people would joke about, but pod fade's a real thing. Like people, you
Yes.
see people do, 10 episodes and then they'll just cut it because their co-host time or their love. But the fact that you had that big break and yet you still came back to it.
Yeah, thank you. And I like for yourself, because you've done like a fair amount of episodes of just yourself and the camera. That was one of my original ideas. I was going to be called The Sound of Your Own Voice, Sound of My Own Voice, and I was just going to just rant. And I did one episode, and it was horrendous. I've done 2 on the feed where I've done it just by myself, but I can't do it. I need to bounce off. And when I do it, it sounds like I'm reading because I take copious notes and I like it. So yeah, big ups to you to be able to do it by yourself as well.
Oh, thanks, man. I just enjoy the sound of my own voice. No, I thought about co-host when I first started, but I didn't know, like it was the fact I wanted to do the commitment. I thought, now I'll do it myself and see how I go. And this is totally born out of COVID. And I was like, well,
yeah,
I can only go shopping and I can only drink. Time to start the podcast.
Yes, that's cool. See, the good thing with me now too is I have Matt, who can't be here on the episode today because we've got he's actually doing the same thing I am today. We're going down to Sydney separately with our significant others and going to see Bert Kreischer do stand up in Sydney. So that's why he's not here, and it's just me. But the good thing now is I've got my partner's been on a few episodes with me, so she's kind of like my secondary co-host now. So whenever I don't have Matt and I don't have another guest lined up, hey, babe, come and talk to me for an hour and a half. So yeah, it's been really good. I'm enjoying it. I do have my crisis of conscience with the show occasionally, where I think, am I doing the right show? And that's why it kind of is a mixed bag sometimes, where like I'll do in the geek news and then I'll do a topic, and then one episode like tomorrow's is all over the shop. It is one of the most random filled conversations that we've ever done, because we recorded yesterday morning at like 11 o'clock. We didn't get drunk. We had a beer each at 11.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. There's been plenty of episodes in this. I've started drinking like much earlier to get this episode going. But no, it's good to hear that you're doing like back-to-back recording, and that's the thing is, it's your show. You can pivot any topic that you want, as long as it's something that you're passionate about and you want to talk about. Then people will listen, people will follow, and keep coming back every single week. And I want to say thank you very much for the shout out for your episode last week.
Yes, Dan, no worries. And thank you for all this Instagram podcast community is one of the best things that I got involved with. So since I came back into this current run of and future run of the podcast through Instagram, it's just been liking and following other podcasts and then doing the shares and shout outs and stuff like that, and it has opened me up to be able to guest host on Lights Camera Rant, and then we'll organize very, very soon for you to be on Cheers, and I'm in conversations with the guys from Why So Sidious and chatting to the Truth Tank and stuff like that. So it's been really, really good.
Those guys at Why So Serious, they're pretty cool. I always love their posts.
Yes.
And actually, I think we both got the shout out on their same episode, I think, and the Truth Tank, I think.
Oh right, I've got to listen. I haven't listened to the episode where they did the shout out because I think just haven't had time.
Yeah, I know, I know, and that's the thing is like I'm like people like I try and listen to like episodes while I'm driving, because like I'm a rep, so I can listen to podcasts all day. But then when I get home, I'm like, I don't listen to any at all.
Yeah, I don't either. So with my work, I listen to podcasts my entire shift. So for my 8 hours a day, I'm listening to various stuff. I listen to like Your Mum's House and Two Bears, One Cave, and like all my geek ones and my movie ones and stuff like that. So I've been putting in episodes of yourself and Why So Sidious and Truth Tank and all the other the episodes and trying to fit them in my already packed listening schedule.
Or let's jam you in there. You can go there.
Yeah.
Especially if you listen to last week's episode, and we've taken up 2 hours of your time.
Oh, the longest episode I ever done was 3 hours.
I haven't got to that mark yet.
It was one of the. It was actually titled the longest episode ever, but it doesn't actually live on the feed. And I had to take it off because of one of the guys that's in it with his job and everything. I had to kind of purge his episodes until later on, just because in case he said anything like for his job and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we've done like 2 hour long, three. I haven't done anything longer than 3 because I think, especially with drinking during a podcast.
Yes.
Once you start pushing past an hour and a half, closer to 2, those beers start to come in and it becomes
the conversation just gets a bit like listen to the whole thing is just going down.
A few weeks ago, Matt and I we did back-to-back episodes, and we were trying to get 3 done, and it was it was the Weird Laws and then the tinfoil conspiracy theory episodes. So we did those 2 back to back, and we're going to try to do a third. We got 12 minutes into the 3rd episode before I said no. No, we're done. We can't do any more because it was a rambling mess. And yeah, no. Can't do more than 2.
I've always wanted to do, like, I hope to do it in the future. I've always wanted to do a round table of like 3. And then just try and just talk. And then, like, if someone says particular words, take a shot.
Oh, nice.
And see how long the episode could go for before we're all like, nah. But, like,
that's awesome.
You know, if someone says superhero or something like that, like, shot, and just keep going. I know one podcast, which I try and drink at the same time. They're called the Uncredited Extras.
Right.
And they do a very similar thing. They drink the whole time, but they've got like a list of words that they all commonly say. And they said they try and get you to drink along at the same time. So every time someone says a word, they're like, drink.
That'd be fun. That'd be messy. Very messy.
Yeah, and they're an Aussie podcast as well.
Oh, right. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Talking to you before we started recording about language and stuff, I think if we had a drinking game of the amount of times the F word is said on my podcast, you'd be drunk in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. But look, the thing is, you get a solid rant from me. That's probably the only thing is that when I drink too much, I just talk way too much, and I get way too passionate about something.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, and that's I'm really glad to hear that you've kept going. You've come back into this. And,
thank you,
dude. You put on a great show.
Thank you very much. And again, I appreciate you having me on. And I will do it whenever you need me to be a guest. Count me in. And next time, hopefully, I can get Matt in at the same time, and we can make it a completely savage and ruthless episode.
Done. Sold. That's Camera Rant Uncensored.
Yeah. And actually, talking about Tears Big Ears and the drinking in the podcast, I haven't done what I do on my podcast, which is crack a drink. I'm not going to drink a beer because it's way too early to drink a beer. I got a Monster. There we go.
Now, well, that's the thing is, like, when we're trying to organize this episode, originally, which was my fault. I stuffed that around because I didn't look at the calendar properly. But no, I had all intention to crack open a can with you at 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
We had. Yeah, I stuffed it up, and my partner's like, "Oh, we're going out to birthday on Sunday." I'm like, what time? She's like, oh, it's a lunch one. I'm like, excuse me, for one moment.
That's like when we first organized for me being on, I'd forgotten that it was the day after we're going down to Sydney for the show tonight. So we had to, I was organizing to try to get back as early as I could to be able to be on the episode, but it's worked out. We're doing it now. It's
and besides the small technical difficulties at the start.
Oh, don't get me started.
Which I think Mr. Mark My Words just said it's close enough to start drinking. I'm like, it's not even 9 o'clock yet.
Yes, it also depends. It depends on where you are in the world. I should have had that in my mind, because somewhere it's after midday and I could have drank.
Exactly right. It's beer o'clock somewhere around the world.
But I just, no.
No, just have an Irish coffee. Well, Chad, one of the things that we do on this podcast for a new guest, just for the audience to get to know you, is we always like to know what are your top 5 movies of all time, or TV shows, either. I know everyone has like a mixed bag, but like what's like top 5 movies or TV shows that you could chuck on and be like, yeah, I'm sitting down and watching this.
So I said to you in our messages, it was very difficult for me to try to figure it out. And my lovely partner said she knew what my favorite movie was, because I have 2 shirts of this movie. I talk about the lead actor is in my in my man crush list. It's none other than Big Trouble in Little China with Mr. Kurt Russell. I think that's my favorite movie. But I love a wide range of genres too. So if I was to give you multiple from different types of genres, Candyman is probably my favorite horror movie.
Oh yeah.
I love The Thing.
The original Thing?
Endgame. The original Thing, not that horrible reboot that they did.
That was bad.
But the original Thing, again, Kurt Russell, let's see a trend here. Endgame, I think, is a movie that I can throw on and watch all the time and still cry at all the exact same spots.
Done. Also, actually, it's funny you say that, because I think this past week was the 4th anniversary.
Oh, far out.
I'm like, really? 4 years ago?
It is one of the greatest cinema experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
Hands down.
I finished work and I went straight to the very first session that morning after work. I was still in my uniform. Yeah, I got spoiled by Instagram and Facebook the day of. So I knew all the big spoilers before I walked into that movie.
Shit.
But it doesn't, I'm one with spoilers. It doesn't ruin my experience. It just makes me want to see it more. Granted, I would have liked the surprise, but it made me want to just see it. So, and I was by myself sitting in the corner up towards the back, and I sobbed like I was at a funeral watching that movie, and multiple times. And I was turning into the corner because I didn't want the people sitting next to me to see me open-bodedly sobbing through that film. But yeah, it's one of my favorite experiences. It's probably one of my favorite of the Marvel stuff. And I've got a little rant to go on that a little bit later about what happened after Endgame and fans and their entitled nature and how it really, really annoys me. But Star Wars, I love. It's not Star Wars, but Star Wars. So everything under Star Wars, that's one of my favorite things on the face of the planet. I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, I think I've given you 5.
That was perfect. And did you watch the end of The Mandalorian?
Yes. People didn't like this season of The Mandalorian. It was a little choppy. It was basically the book of Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't bother me because we're getting more story and build to what's coming, and it just hit me in movie, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew. It's giving us all these little nods to the future, and I know a lot of people don't like that is because it's set up and not story. But it was still story. It was still the characters. It gave me Star Wars moments. Even in episodes I didn't really like, it still gave me Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it.
I did really like this season. There was in my review last week, there was a couple of moments I was like, I was a bit iffy about. Probably my only biggest gripe I had at the final, which I was talking to Zach about, was I just thought that the dark saber getting destroyed so easily, I felt like that was just like you've just spent nearly 2 episodes leading with the saber and telling us the history, and then what saber?
But the good thing is the storytelling, that they set it up that, like with what Din said to Bo, is, he's not following the saber, he's following the person, and so it's just showing that they're still going to follow her regardless.
Yeah, your song hasn't been written, and I will follow you. I'm like, oh damn. So
it kind of set up that she doesn't need the Darksaber, but it's not the last we're going to see the Darksaber. It will be back.
Yeah.
100% it will be back. Yeah. Just like Moff Gideon will be back because he didn't have a mustache.
That's right. I saw that theory. I was like, that's so stupid, but they're right.
Like, he's a clone, 100%. Like, you don't show the clones without getting, and I reckon when he comes back, it will be one of the Force-sensitive clones. That's my theory.
And with a reconstructed Darksaber?
Maybe, yes, because it was still left there, so we could have done it. I loved his armor. I loved that original Boba Fett, Ralph McQuarrie design for his kind of his Dark Trooper. He was a budget. He was Darth Vader from Wish, but still, like, it was. It was so good.
I know, it's like when you wear the costume, you get this. Oh, I got Moff Gideon.
But when you said about TV shows, I also like Firefly was one of my the Joss Whedon shows. As problematic as he is, Buffy, Angel, Firefly are still shows that I will put on and still watch religiously. Lost was one of my favorite shows of all time, and I even the ending. It's the journey.
That's I'll give you that. I was in for the first season of Lost, and then I will, no pun intended, after that I was lost. I was a bit like, for what? and then I remember seeing the Lost board game. I'm like, well, that looks like that's just going to be fun and make no sense, just like the show.
Yes.
But no, I remember I actually did think I saw something that people were thinking about doing a reboot of Buffy. And
which they've rebooted a couple of times in both book and comic book form. There's a new run of novels.
Yeah, and Buffy was not a reboot, but because there was a movie, wasn't there? It was an old movie. Old Buffy movie.
Yeah, so there's the original Buffy movie with Kirsty Swanson and Luke Perry and Donald Sutherland and Rutger Hauer. And it was owned by a different company. Joss just wrote it, and it was directed by someone else and was owned by this. I think it was the Kazooie family. And so they ended up doing that movie, and it wasn't exactly his vision, and that's why he did the TV show. And that's why you can see in the producer credits, it's the Kazooies were still involved because they owned the theatrical rights and not the TV rights. So that's how he kind of got to do the TV show.
Got around it.
Yeah.
And yet Firefly. I never really got into Firefly Firefly, but it is it is on a list of shows that I plan to binge.
It's still one of the greatest travesties of television history that Fox ruined it by
Fox
they
butchered
edit out
it,
of
didn't
they edit out of order. So the pilot episode is like nearly a feature film, and they didn't want that. They wanted the second episode to be the first, so it's completely out of order the way that they showed it, and then they just killed it off. Like, yeah, travesty.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I remember reading that. I was like, well, that's one way to really kill a show, which has a massive fan base.
That still runs to this very day. So,
yeah,
it's a good show. It's probably like I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I'd like to go back to it and kind of look at it with a different set of eyes and see if any of that Joss Whedon problematicness has seeped into the new viewing. But I don't want to ruin it, so I'll just let it sit for a little bit longer.
No, which is fair. Look, after everything that happened after Justice League with Joss Whedon, like that, I'm still waiting, which I know one day will get made, a documentary about the making of that first Justice League movie. Because there'd be so much to talk about between Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder, or how it pretty much ruined the DCEU and crippled it.
It did, but also I think Zack Snyder's vision ruined it. I'm not a big fan of that run of movies at all. There's to a point, but there's more negative for me. Is more negative than the biggest travesties of that original DCEU is we never got a proper Henry Cavill Superman.
No.
The closest we did was a little bit at the end of actually the Joss Whedon Justice League, where he was actually smiling and being happy. I don't like his characterization between Superman and Clark. There's no difference, and that is such a big key component of that character is the difference between Clark and Superman. I don't like Amy Adams as Lois. It's just horrible casting. Ben Affleck, there's moments in Batman v Superman, the warehouse scene and stuff like that that blow me away. But it's too grimdark for me. And
I still hate Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I think that was
horrible.
The biggest pile of shit of acting and casting. Because I remember when I first watched it, half of his scenes, I'm like, no, this might be a bit too left field. Like, I understand your interpretation of the character, how they all, how they act and everything. I'm like, nah, this is a bit weird.
I get what they're trying. What I was kind of trying to do is doing the Mark Zuckerberg Lex Luthor. Yeah. I get that because you're casting Mark Zuckerberg from The Social Network as your Lex, but it wasn't the characterization of Lex that I want, and that's why this James Gunn new run is going to give us a DCU on film that is actually comparative to the characters, and that's what I'm looking forward to because I want to see the proper versions of those characters on screen.
Same. I agree. I have high hopes for James Gunn's direction. I was talking to a mate the other day about it, and I was saying how Cal is his YouTube name. He usually comes on. I was saying to him the fact that the most faith I have in DC now is that James Gunn's control and DC has a direction. Like someone's actually looking at this and being an architect for the whole thing moving forward, not just let's slap anything to the wall and see what sticks. Like looking back, the Flash TV show started the same year that the Flash movie got announced, and the Flash TV show finishes its 9 seasons before the Flash movie comes out.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. Don't get me started on the casting on Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. I don't like it at all. I don't like him I don't like anything he's ever been in. I just don't like. He's too goofy as Barry for me. I just don't like it. I'm gonna go see the Flash.
Yes,
when it comes out.
What did you think of the latest trailer?
There are moments in it that got me very, very excited. The stuff with Michael Keaton's Batman, seeing Ben Affleck's Batman in a kind of a blue version of the costume.
Yeah,
it gets me, but a lot of it does look very standing in front of green screens.
The bit where they both run in, like in the desert, when all three of them run in, I'm like, that doesn't look finished.
It looked really kind of dodgy. It looked like it was special effects from 5 years ago, which doesn't surprise me considering how long this movie's been in production. So, which you'd think after how long they've had to sit on it and all the problems that they would, maybe splash just that little bit of extra cash to some studios to get us proper special effects.
Now, why would they do that when now it's just going to get all rebooted? And
the only thing I'm looking forward to is the end credit, like the post-credit sequence, which reboots the entire universe. That's it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well. I didn't notice in the trailer as well until I had the second run through is that Michelle Pfeiffer it looks like for her from the back of the head she's in the trailer.
Oh really? Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch it and see that.
There's a scene where she's opening the cupboard to the Batman suit, Michael Keaton's bat suits, and from the back, it looks like her because it looks like the same hair she had in Ant-Man and Quantumania.
Oh, right. I see. Okay, that scene, I actually put that as a old Bruce Wayne with long hair as a recluse, reopening the things because it's a grayish-colored hair. Because I think you see at one point that jumper with bruised knuckles at the start of the trailer.
Oh, yeah, it could be. I just thought, I thought maybe it was her because
that's
in the
what
next
I was
frame he's got his hair cut. Yeah, so it could be actually because all the scenes we've seen him in is with shortcut hair. Shortcut hair,
and I think maybe that might be like it's just my theory that those scenes are kind of set with him being in exile and not being Batman, and then the stuff afterwards is him back in Batman. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to see it as much as I really. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it, really.
I'm a bit about the same. I'm excited for it, but one of my arguments I had with on a previous episode was, how can you get excited for something that you know leads to nothing? Like this
exactly.
This is going to be a great. I hope it's going to be a great movie, but it's like that's it, and anything in this movie has any ongoing effect. Moving forward,
the only thing this movie is going to do is reboot the universe
and confuse fans more.
Yeah, 100%. The only and I didn't end up seeing Shazam: Fury of the Gods, but it looked like trash. So I'm not interested in that. The only thing that's actually got my attention of the newer stuff is Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle looks like a step in the right direction.
Blue Beetle looks good. I'm pretty sure it's still part of the Flash and Aquaman DC. Yeah, it is still part of that DC. I wish we got the Batgirl movie. I wish they didn't cancel that.
I don't. I'm glad we don't.
Really?
I'm glad. I'm 100%. From what I saw, it looked like garbage. I think it would have confused us way more.
Because Brendan Fraser was going to be the bad guy. Michael Keaton was coming back.
From what I heard, he was only in it for like a second.
Well, which got leaked online.
And it just doesn't. I don't know. I want my. I with my Batman stuff. I want what James Gunn's going to do with Brave and the Bold and the future of the Batman stuff and the Batman sequels by with Robert Pattinson. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's my jam. I'm a Batman fan. I have Batman tattooed on my arm. It's.
I'm trying to remember which side because the mirror's like.
Oh, nice! That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
I'm trying because the camera's mirrored. I'm like, hang on, what side's it on? Yeah, no.
So yeah, and it just looked like a TV movie. It looked like to me, it looked like a TV movie of the Batwoman TV series.
Which was already problematic in itself after the first season. And then we got what the Flash Batwoman that said all that cringy stuff in the last season of Flash, which was really bad. Well, you want to get nuts? And I'm like, oh, this is just cringeworthy. No, and like this is a good argument because I did see this on a news thing as well that it's got cancelled. Do you know about Batman Beyond?
Oh yeah, there's supposedly a movie going to be in the works, and they were looking at Clint Eastwood to play.
That's
Bruce
the part
Wayne.
That was the part I was like, nah, you could just use Michael Keaton. He's at the right age to do this.
If you're going to do it, you do it now. I think anytime in the future, like there's a way to give us a third Batman movie, but make it a third Batman series, but make it a future version of the 89 stuff and do Batman Beyond that way. And then you can have Rob Pattinson as Batman. And then you've got your Michael Keaton as 89 Batman in a future with Batman Beyond. And then you've got the Brave and the Bold. And I think that's something you could do. It needs to be done. It's a story that makes sense to be on film.
It does, and this was one of the arguments I did have when the Batman got announced. Was like I would have preferred them do a Batman Beyond movie than do another reboot again. Like, don't get me wrong, the prior Pattinson's Batman was really good, but I just feel like a Batman Beyond movie would have just been something different than let's go back to the start again.
I can see from that point of view, like to do something different, give us something new and fresh and exciting with it. I'm glad we got the Batman. I loved it, and I can't wait to see what they do. I think, as grounded as that first movie is, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little sprinkling of kind of the supernatural, especially with the rumors of Clayface for the sequel. So.
Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Court of Owls.
Like you can do all that and still have it with that little bit of the supernatural element, but still keep it grounded. I think it could work really, really well. But yeah, 100%. I want a Batman Beyond movie. I think it'd be fantastic. I love the animated series. Batman the animated series is actually on my TV list of favorite things of all time. I love that show.
Same.
I cried like a little girl when I found out that this is a bad fan move. I can't remember it. When he died.
You mean Mr. Kevin Conroy?
That's fine. Okay. I need to get out of this. And hand in my geek cards.
End stream. End episode. No, I was a bit shocked too when I saw that he passed away, and I couldn't. Yeah, no, for a lot of people, he was our childhood. Like he was when you pick up a comic, that was the voice you heard. And then
100%.
So many years later, then we got one of the greatest superhero trilogy games ever. And
Yes.
the story was brilliant too, which he voiced, which is why Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. That's going to be hard.
Because we're getting his last performance. And I think it's also going to be hard because I think that game is not going to be good.
They delayed it for a year. Like this.
Because they realize they've made a horrible, horrible mistake. And fans don't want the microtransactions and games as a service type stuff with these types of games anymore. And I don't know how they even thought they could cash in on the goodwill of the fans from the Arkham games and give us that. There's no in the footage I've seen. There's no difference between any of the characters. They're just the same character with different skins.
Yeah,
which they did in Gotham, pretty much in Gotham Knights.
I couldn't finish that game. I played 1 hour and I was like, this is shit. This is a terrible copy of Arkham, and it's terrible. But the thing is, with Kill the Justice League, besides like the gameplay, all the character designs look fantastic.
100%.
Superman looks good.
Look
Wonder
amazing.
Woman, Flash looks great. And then you look at the gameplay, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it looks horrible. It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me, which just shows it's not actually, I don't think it's Rocksteady. I do think it's probably from higher up, like WB Games, that are seeing games as a service and going, okay, you need to put this in. And Rocksteady doing it. And then now they've realized, this is bad press and we've got to get out of it.
I think so.
But I think
what happened to the Avengers game?
I played that for 5 minutes too, and then I turned it off and threw the disc in the bin.
Yeah, that was shit. And I was really looking forward to that from that trailer and everything. I was like, this looks really good. You get to, play Cap, Thor, the whole team. Played it for, I got through an hour and I was like, this is also shit. I'm going back to Red Dead.
Rinse and repeat of fighting the same enemies over and over and over again, and it just was not fun. Story. If it had been the narrative of that game with just an action beat 'em up, third person action game without all that other dog shit, I think it would have been good.
Yeah,
but
Look at. Did you ever play Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
No.
This is PlayStation, but that was a game that was like the Avengers, and you had all of them. But you had a team of 4, and you were like slightly above. But you had to figure out puzzles. You went through different levels. You fought different there was different stories. That was great. I thought it'd be okay. This will hopefully be similar to the new one was. No. This was shit, and I think in some of the games said they lost a lot of money on it. I was like, of course you did. Of course you lost a lot of money on it. So, and then this is I think the second or third time Kill the Justice League has been delayed.
Yeah, and no matter what version comes out at the end, all that bad taste is going to be lingering on that disc. And it's probably going to infect your PlayStation with some kind of foot and mouth disease.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what? I'm a glutton for punishment, and I will get it, and then I'll play it for 5 minutes. I'll take it out, and I'll take it back to EB Games and get a refund.
Talking
about EB Games, I got Jedi Survivor yesterday for $9.
Oh, fuck, that's pretty good. The bloke that came past just before, mark my words, he's one of my good mates, and he has been recycling. I think it's $200. He's been recycling $200. This is probably, I don't know, he's getting in trouble. Through EB Games the past like 8 years, because you can return it back in a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
So
the 7 days. I think that's crazy. I did that with a few games. Especially if it's a game that I'm not going to replay, like it's a one and done, and I get it done in the 7 days. I'll do it because I'm not going to play it again. And I traded in a whole bunch of games yesterday because they were just sitting there, and I hadn't played a lot of them, or I'd I was never going to play them again. Plus, a few of those games that I traded in, I'm paying through the arse for the PlayStation Plus Essentials, and they're all on there digitally. So
what's the point?
And then I can just then add them onto my hard drive, which they need to hurry up and give us a bigger hard drive for the PlayStation 5.
They
because
really do.
you had a little post and a rant about it yesterday for the download size. I had to delete 5 things off my hard drive to be able to play.
I delete 3. This is the thing that pisses me off. Like Red Dead and God of War, from my memory, didn't take that long as that did.
Yep.
Like I just miss the days when you just put a game in and you just play it. Like I understand if there's like a 5 gig or 6 gig update. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, there's something to tweak to play the game. Not when you have to wait 2 hours, Australian internet time, 2 hours just to play the game, and then according to still another 4 hours for the rest of the thing to be downloaded. Hell, I'd be surprised if it's still not downloaded.
For a first world country, our internet is 10th world. It's a backwater planet. When it comes to internet, Australia, it's the worst pile of dog shit. Luckily, it didn't take too long for me when I put it in, so I finished work, I come home, I put it in, and I had it running while I was doing stuff around the house. Then Matt come over, we recorded the episode. He fucked off, and then I was able to play it. So yeah, I think it took me about an hour, and I think it was about an hour and 20. But the thing that annoys me with games is is day one patches.
Yeah.
Release it without a day one patch, please. Like, have your game fixed. You go gold and before the game and it's tested, and then you're releasing it, and you're releasing broken product.
And that isn't that like false advertisement?
Yes, because
I'm paying for a whole game.
You're paying for a part of the game, and then the rest you got to download afterwards. Like The Last of Us, that had a delay. The Last of Us Part 2, it had a delay when it, I think it was pushed back like about 6 months. But that game, you put it in, and it played. The only update they did was like 5 days later, and it was to add like permadeath and some gameplay tweaks to it.
To add on it or do a slight fix. That's it. Like that's what I loved about God of War. I put God of War in, and the whole game was there and played beautiful.
And also, if a game is going to have 150 gig install, put it on 2 discs. Put a data disk and a play disk. It's not difficult.
No, Red Dead did that. You had the 2, and look, and same thing with I only had 1, but Grand Theft Auto 5, fun, whole game.
Yep. Give me the old days, or if you can't fit it onto one Blu-ray disc, give me 2 discs, and then that justifies the extortionate price that they are charging us for these games. I remember Final Fantasy VII, and I think it had 5 discs on the PlayStation 1.
That's what it did too.
It had so many discs, and you had to take it in, and then when you finish that disc, you put it in the next one, and then you played from where the technology is there. They did it before. You can do it again. But yeah, they need to upgrade this hardware. I think with the amount that we're paid for PlayStation 5s, it should be a free solid state drive update given to everybody, because it's ridiculous. It's too small.
I know, and that was one of the things I was surprised about when they released the schematics for the PlayStation, Xbox. I was like, this is the space. I'm like, what? Why so small? Like,
I understand the
what?
reason from a technological standpoint because of it being solid state. That's the reason why the games load so quickly because you're running off a solid state drives. But the storage space, especially if you've got a digital only PlayStation,
Yeah. How much
screw
can you?
that. You'd have to, and they're getting the game sizes are getting larger and larger and larger as it goes along. It's
Yeah. Well,
frustrating.
look at it. Look at like if you had Call of Duty Warzone and then had Grand Theft Auto with all of the DLC updates, and God of War, just for example, that's it. That is your hard drive done.
That's crazy.
That's it. So that was my big rant last night. It's just like far out. Like, and that's the thing is you can't unless you buy it online through the store. Then you're still going to go through that trouble of coming home from work and be like, "All right, I'll play you tomorrow."
Yeah. It's, the
Um,
best thing that they did, being given us the ability for the PlayStation 4 games to run them off your external hard drive. If we
yeah,
had to run them off the hard drive, the built-in hard drive, you wouldn't be playing any games. You'd be
no,
playing 2 games at a time.
no, you won't
Ugh.
at all.
Grr.
But look, we pretty much led straight into it. Going through like pop culture news and everything. Especially speaking of sad deaths, kind of. Jerry Springer in the past.
Yes, pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, he that
That's
was.
crazy.
Condolences to his friends, family, and pets. But yeah, I saw that post the other day. I was like, shit. I'm like, what are daytime TV watchers gonna watch now?
Oh, I don't even know what's on daytime television anymore, and I don't know if there is a show that could exist as trashy as the Jerry Springer
Nah,
show. Not in today's society could we get that show at
no,
all.
no. Cancer culture,
Oh, that show would be cancelled
everywhere.
after the first episode. It would be cancelled
Yeah,
because it would say something. It's yeah, but he had that niche. I can't believe he was a politician as well for a while there. Yeah, good old Jerry Springer
yeah,
and his head security Steve, the big bald bloke.
yeah. I just looking back at time, like you look on TikTok and people post compilations of that show, and I thought they just wouldn't get that past today. It feels like the only people still getting away with this raunchy shit is in animation, like Family Guy and South Park and other shows like that. They
Yep.
seem to be still pushing the envelope. The Boys to a point, I would say the
Yeah.
Boys, but you don't see anything as close as that anymore in daytime TV.
No, not with the dredge of society that they put on display in that show.
Cancel culture. I don't even know who you are, but you offended me because you like that kid. Like I see that as a threat to me.
Yes.
That's how bad it is. But also that so what I was talking about earlier is that apparently the UK has stopped the merger between Microsoft acquiring Activision.
I didn't know this. I don't know much about this story because at the end of the day, I couldn't give 2 shits what Xbox does. I'm a PlayStation loyalist. Hail Sony.
Sony.
Yes, my Japanese overlords.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. But I've heard about this. It's interesting. The reasons why, like, why they're blocking it.
I read that the reason why they're blocking it is that apparently, don't hold me to the pitchfork and everybody, was that what I read is that UK business is blocking it because they believe that the current plan that Microsoft has for Activision will cripple the company and destroy it. Will not actually let the company thrive or something like that. Like it's to stop someone. I'm buying your company and you're closed tomorrow.
Right.
And you've lost all
Okay.
your jobs. So the UK believes Microsoft's current plan will not support Activision moving forward, and it's such legal bullshit. And if the deal doesn't go through, Microsoft ends up in something like about $3 billion of debt they have to pay.
That's crazy. And I can see them trying to get like Microsoft getting Activision to get that the games as a service, like that type of stuff. But Activision has always been a toxic developer, like parent company as well. Like there's been lots of shit that they've been up to, and especially like the head, one of the head dudes, and the dumb shit that he's done. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Let them take it and eat each other from within, or
it's when it first went off, when I first got announced and it said that Microsoft bought Activision, it was terrible. The first thing I thought, oh, we'll finally get a Simpsons Hit and Run reboot. That was my first reaction. Because it's interesting at a time because it's no longer people, game developers having an exclusive game with a particular person. Now Sony and Microsoft are buying their competition.
Yeah.
Like what Disney
but
did,
see,
what Disney's doing.
Yeah, with Marvel and Star Wars. But see, Sony's always had their in-house studios.
Bought Bungie.
We bought Bungie, which
I was like, oh, good, you've got Destiny.
Until they tell Bungie to like, okay, do something new, give us something exclusive. Yeah. But Sony's always had that prestige studios underneath, like Naughty Dog and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's Microsoft just trying to get into that game. But in buying Activision, and it would take away Call of Duty from, like, they would keep it just into that. So they'd be losing a lot of money.
Yeah, they would. They can't. Well, apparently, what they've said in interviews is that they have no plan to make Call of Duty exclusive. I'm like, bullshit. There would have been talks about making Call of Duty exclusive. Without a shadow of a doubt. But the thing is that you would lose, there would be so much money on the table for you to take out PlayStation entirely from that equation.
Yeah, which they've done with Bethesda. The amount of Bethesda and like the Bethesda, Arcane, all the studios that are underneath Bethesda. PlayStation won't have any of that, so we're not going to get Starfield, Next Elder Scrolls, Fallout. So it means I'm just going to have to slum it and finally buy an Xbox. Perish the thought.
I've got both. I've got both because I will admit I do like Xbox's what the fuck? What do you call it? Their Netflix library. Their stream.
Oh, the the Games Pass.
Yeah.
Games Pass?
Yeah. I do find that Xbox has a lot more backwards compatibility games compared to PlayStation. And obviously Xbox also allows like beta test games. Like I find early access games are on Xbox compared to PlayStation.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Sony's pretty much you only give me a full game or nothing.
Yeah. I haven't had an Xbox. Like I've only ever had the first Xbox, and yeah, that's where it ends. I felt bad for for getting one. The only other console I ever had was I did a couple of the Nintendos back in the day, the Sega Master System and Mega Drive. But
really,
of
it was really
current,
on Nintendo. It was really on Nintendo, and then PlayStation came.
yeah, and I've had all the Nintendos up until I think it was the Wii, and then I played that for again 5 minutes and put it back in the box and gave it to my auntie.
I still love how the Wii got an injury named after it. You could have a Wii injury, and how many how many flat screens were destroyed because of this.
It's crazy.
And then got the Switch, which, yeah, it's a lower form of the Steam Deck.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's this whole deal. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this is gonna fall out, because I know Microsoft will be scramming right now. I actually completely forgot about the deal because it was almost a year and a half ago that all got announced.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't know any of that.
I think it was that's how old this is. When I saw the story, I was like, oh shit. This is still going on, but obviously these deals can take a very long time. Like, look what happened with like Fox and
Disney.
Lucasfilm and Disney.
Right.
And I forgot to actually mention too. Sorry, the Nick Cage in Superman. He is rumored to be a cameo in the Flash. I've got to say that earlier.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why. Apparently, he will appear in the movie as Superman, because Nick Cage was meant to play Superman in a Superman movie in the late 90s.
Yes, the Tim Burton Superman, Superman Lives, which would have been a steaming pile
of shit.
Yes. Yeah, I think that movie would have been horrendous. The latest thing actually back to the Flash and its cameos was I've heard that there is no Grant Gustin.
There's no.
Which
Grant
is
Gustin.
They put him in the TV show during Crisis on Infinite Earths, but they can't just put him in for 5 seconds.
No, not in the same year his shows just ended.
It's
no.
Warner Brothers.
I know. I don't know. I talk about how butchering a thing, but yeah, I'm happy to see Nick Cage as Superman. I think that would be a great nod to see him as a character. Apparently, Nick Cage, Gal Gadot. I could be totally wrong on the Catwoman cameo now. Who else? It was.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Still no Henry Cavill. That's apparently not meant to happen at all, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to touch Warner Brothers from a bar of soap now. Especially after what happened last year. Yeah, tell him you're back. Hey, I'm back. Actually, nah, you're not.
Yeah, thanks, Rock.
Yeah.
No, don't be started on that piece of shit.
It's a joke. Like, it's such a joke. The whole thing with The Rock, Shazam, and Henry Cavill and DC and all that. And I'm like, dude, your movie was only like mediocre. Like, it was nothing amazing. You brought nothing new to the table, and you also changed the character as well to fit to be a Rock character, not to be the character.
Yes. Somebody needs to sit him down and explain to him the finer details that Black Adam is a villain for Shazam, not Superman.
Yes.
You idiot. All that steroids has eaten away at his brain, and all that's left is nothing. Yeah, he's natural. Yeah. Only thing that's left is a narcissistic brain that makes him think that he is God's gift to cinema when he clearly is not. No, I used to love him.
Tom Cruise is.
Yes, the man that saved cinema.
Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
5-inch platforms, so he doesn't look like a child playing dress up.
It's so short.
He's so short. And then the other thing that you can't unsee is that tooth in the middle of his head.
No.
One of his front teeth is.
Ever since I saw that photo, now I'm just like, oh my God, it really is.
It's a.
Like you just get so sucked into it. But yeah, I know The Rock, not to mention between the Shazam thing and the fight with Vin Diesel, like it's all adding up.
Yes.
On between the two. And have you ever watched Big Mouth?
Yes. I'm a couple of seasons behind, but I'm a fan of Big Mouth.
That show is the one that's breaking the Netflix record.
Really?
Yes. So currently this year we'll get season 7, and next year we'll get season 8. And season 8 will mark the longest running Netflix original TV show.
Wow.
Yeah, out of all the shows, Big Mouth is the one that breaks the record.
That's amazing. It's such a good show. It's so funny. Is it ending as well? It's ending.
It's season 8.
Season 8's
the last one.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm a big fan of the stuff that show gets away with. I cannot believe it's so funny. I tend to usually put it on when I'm shaving my head. I have someone on to keep me kind of entertained while I'm doing the rigorous task of getting rid of my receding hairline. And so I usually have that playing.
But no, it's such a good show, and I really do like it. Has last 8 seasons. I have all the seasons. I haven't watched the season and gone, oh, that wasn't as good as the last one. Like it just seemed like it's kept the quality going, and obviously they got the spin-off show now.
Yes.
Human Resources, which had its funny moments as well. I do love that Hugh Jackman.
I haven't watched that.
Played it. You need to watch it. Hugh Jackman plays it's not ecstasy fairy, or like a drug fairy with 2 dicks or 3 dicks.
Oh wow! Okay, I'm definitely going to add that to the watch pile. That's crazy. And that show had its controversy as well with the changing of actresses for
yes,
from Jenny Slate to the other one, but you can't actually really tell the difference. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
In the same episode, it does, but after that, you're like, it's normal now.
Yeah,
because they walk. I think they walk into, it's like a haunted house or something. She walks in with the previous girl's voice, and then she comes out with the new girl's voice. But then after that,
right, okay,
yeah. So it's like same kind of episode thing, but after that, you don't know shit. Like that's it.
I must have missed that change. I'll have to go back and have a look.
Season 3, season 4, one of the two.
Okay.
But yeah, when I saw the poster that broke the record, I was like, that's all right. That's out of all the shows, that's good that did it, because obviously Stranger Things isn't up there. That's about to end. That's right around the corner, I'm pretty sure. And BoJack Horseman only lasted 5 or 6 seasons.
Because Netflix has that run where they only go for like 3 to 5 seasons, and then they get the big swinging axe lobs off their head.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. Good on Big Mouth.
They probably thought, well, we better keep this going because we've just axed everything else.
Yeah, and we're burning money.
Yeah, well, and the fact that there was talks that Wednesday maybe wasn't going to get a season 2, and I was like, bullshit! This show is not going to get a season 2. It's the hottest thing right now. You can't just go, season 1 done.
That's a show that I watched 1 episode of and tapped out.
Nah.
No, because it fundamentally changed the for me, the lore of the Addams Family. It's like it would have worked better if it was Wednesday in a normal school, and she was the supernatural thing at the normal school, not having all these other supernatural things. It kind of
Yeah, not the Hogwarts.
the whole premise of the Addams Family was they were the strange in the mundane.
Mm.
And then if you're putting the strange in the strange, it's just strange. It doesn't. I didn't like some of the characterizations, and and I'm not a fan of Luis Gomez as
Yeah,
Luis Guzman as Gomez. It was really off-putting.
that was
It's
that
just,
was one of the ones I was a bit off on casting. The thing is, I don't know if you saw, but you see the flashback, like the flashback they had of like the younger versions of themselves. The guy,
I don't think I got to that.
there's if you don't, it's all right. They did a flashback of like a younger version of them when they were in high school, and the guy who's playing Gomez, perfect. Like that's exactly how you'd think he'd look like, and then you look like this now. You're like, I don't know. Like, do you think it's because like this exception because of like the '90s movies?
I don't know. I think they were just trying to go in a different direction, which I think because we had two very, very great performances of Gomez before. We had John Aston in the original black and white TV series, and then Raul Julia in the two films, who I think the characterization of Gomez, I think the best was in the Addams Family and Addams Family Values, because the relationship between him and Morticia is perfect. It's like you can tell that they love each other, and he's suave and I just didn't get that from Luis Guzman, which I like him and everything he's been in, and I think he's a great comedic actor, serious actor, but just he's not Gomez.
Nah, it's when I saw it go announcement first, I was like, ugh. But to the credit, Johnny Ortega, she did a fantastic job as Wednesday.
I think if I was to watch it and continue watching, it would be just for Jenna Ortega, but it's not getting any more of my eyeballs on it.
No, that's fine. Did you happen to hear that Princess Leia, speaking of Star Wars, she will be getting her Walk of Fame, Hollywood?
Oh, that's amazing. Long overdue.
Yeah.
For Miss Carrie Fisher. She should have been while she was alive, because she was an icon on film and in writing behind the scenes. Her uncredited rewrites on the Star Wars trilogy, and her books
and her wonderful, like the biggest things in Star Wars, that she was on Family Guy.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And it's long overdue. It's a really weird process, that Hollywood star, where you buy it.
Yeah.
You have to pay to do it. Like basically you're paying for them to jerk you off. It's weird, but there's one person that deserves it. It's Carrie Fisher.
It is. When I saw that, I actually thought she already had hers. I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay, she already has. But no, it's long overdue for her, and I think it's well deserved. It is very sad that she passed away, and yes, it's still kind of some controversy of whether or not she should have been in Rise of Skywalker. With a wonderful work of magic, but it's well deserved for her on that. Also, did you catch the new trailer for Transformers? Are you a Transformers fan?
I did. I think Bumblebee is the best of the Transformers movies.
Still.
And then I saw this, and I saw the original stuff for this, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I saw the new trailer, and it just reminds me of a step backwards. It feels like it doesn't exist in that Bumblebee universe. It feels more Michael Bay to me. I know some of the character designs are still within that Bumblebee kind of like more OG in its depictions, but it just looks like a big CG mess. And I can't believe they're introducing Unicron.
I know what I know. I thought when I was like, oh, interesting that the Unicron is the big bad for this movie. That's the 6th movie in a semi-reboot franchise.
To go from Bumblebee, which is such a tiny, intimate story, to doing such a big, bombastic,
the world eater of a transformer. You know what we need? We need beasts and Unicron. Let's just let's just cram it.
Yeah, let's put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. That's pretty much what it's going to be, overflowing with Transformer garbage. But again, I'll watch it. I'll be disappointed if Unicron is not voiced by Orson Welles. Dig him up and get him to revoice him, because I thought he did amazing in the original animated movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing with that franchise. I think they're just pumping out movies to hold onto the license.
That's all they have to do. That's why Fox kept making shitty X-Men movies, because they had to hold on to the rights.
Yeah.
And then same with Sony. Sony had to keep, and in the end they folded. Thank God they folded.
Yes.
For what plans they rumoredly had after Amazing Spider-Man 2, it would have been awful what they were going to do. Like they were looking to do a Gwen movie. They were going to do the Sinister Six, and they were going to reboot Venom again. And there was another really shitty movie they were going to make again. And speaking of actually Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter is meant to be R.
Yeah, I talk about Sony doing all that with the original, like with the Amazing Spider-Man movies and all the garbage that they were going to do as spin-offs. They're doing it with Tom Holland. They've got the MCU home trilogy, and then all these garbage spin-offs. Morbius should not be a movie.
No, Morbius was shit. This is what Sony's doing. Sony's like, well, if we can't have Spider-Man, we'll go and make these other spin-off movies that are shit. And they're not
going to translate and transfer into the proper thing. Like, you don't introduce Kraven the Hunter as the hero of a film before Kraven should only be if they did The Last Hunt. That is it. I don't want to see a live action movie of Kraven the Hunter becoming Kraven the Hunter, and he's an animal activist. No, he's a hunter who wants to hunt the biggest prey there is, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't. I love that they're going and we'll see how that goes. But there's no way in hell they're going to do the ending to Kraven's story justice.
No.
Because if you're going to do it, he has to be defeated by Spider-Man and kill himself.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. But
they're not gonna do that. That's and Sony's trying to clamor at a franchise because Venom is about to end with their 3rd movie. And then
which is a waste of time.
Well, the second one was really a bit subpar. Very subpar. And there's another one they're making, which is about a masked wrestler in the Spider-Man.
With Bad Bunny.
That's it. I'm like, Sony, just stop. You're going to ruin it. And I just feel bad for Kevin Feige and his team. They're going to look over the fence and be like, oh, there goes Sony again. Oh, what are you going to ruin now? Oh, don't touch that, please. Oh God.
100%. What Sony needs to just focus on the animated Into the Spider-Verse movies and let the character of Spider-Man just be. Yeah.
I'm so pumped for the sequel.
Oh, it looks amazing. It looks really, really good.
Spider-Man from the future looks jacked as shit.
Oh, Miles, Miguel. It's voiced by Oscar Isaacs. It looks
Yeah,
really really
Moon
good.
Knight.
It
Yeah,
looks amazing. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be basically a Spot the Spider-Man alternative character all the way through that. It's basically just going to be Easter egg hunting and seeing all the
yeah.
weird Spider-Man, but it's going to be good.
Across the verse, like, come on, like you gotta tell me that the OGs, all three Spider-Man, have to have somewhat of a decent role, either in this one or the third one.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Have to. Because still Spider-Man No Way Home is the closest thing on an endgame level we've had.
Yes, which now I'll go into my. You mentioned Endgame.
Oh yeah. What's your rant? Let's hear your rant. I'm all up for it.
So as good as Endgame is, and I love Endgame, entitled fans. That's all they want. I'm sick of seeing people and seeing fans that hate these movies because, like, especially it's popular now to dislike Marvel because they were successful and they're now not doing.
The Marvel's in shambles. Yeah, they're so ruined. They're dead. Shut up.
It's entitled fans not getting what they wanted. And then they're bitching and whinging and moaning and hating on it because it's not what they want. Well, listen, it's not your story to tell. No. It's their story. It's okay to speculate. It's okay to fantasize about what you want and and theorize about what could be happening. But if you're wrong and it doesn't happen, you've got no say in the game to get the shits and hate something because you didn't get what you wanted. Because again, it's not your story to tell.
No.
And if you're not getting what you wanted, go and write and make your own thing.
No, they won't go that
far. Don't it's happening with it's happened with Star Wars for so long. It's the reason it's these entitled fans. It's the reason why we got the piece of shit that is Rise of Skywalker. It's the reason why they just it just annoys me to no end.
No, I completely agree with you. I open my TikTok and it just seems like any of these comic book reviewers, just every time a Marvel movie comes out, they're like, "Oh, look, it's awful! Like this is gonna be terrible. This is in shambles. Oh, this is not what we wanted."
Well, I didn't get this. I didn't get that. I didn't get this. I didn't get that.
No, that's right. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, which I keep telling everyone, like, gotta remember, right now, after Endgame, it's technically a reboot button. They're going to rebuild everything once again to a new Avengers, because currently right now there is no Avengers. There is no Avengers HQ. There's no Avengers team. And look, okay, Quantumania. All right, so yeah, some things didn't all pop up that we thought they were going to be, but it's not the end of the world. And I have no doubt with Guardians of the Galaxy, there will be still someone complaining.
We're in you're not going to get an Avengers Endgame level movie every movie. This is
the
called
closest thing was No Way Home.
This is called storytelling. What we got was the end of a story, and we're in the beginnings of a new story. And it's just there are Marvel movies and there's Marvel stuff that I don't like, that annoy me throughout these movies. But there is more often stuff that I really, really enjoy. And that's what I take from it. The stuff that I enjoyed, not the stuff I disliked. And if I don't get a theory that I think is going to happen, movie ends, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they did. I didn't get what I wanted, but maybe.
I hope it's TikTok. You know what?
And maybe sometime in the future we'll get that theory that I had. Might not be this movie. Might be the next movie. Might be 4 movies down the track. Might not happen at all. But it's not my story to get the shits about. It's theirs, and I'm here to enjoy what they're doing. I'm done. Rant's over. I'll take my rant pants off.
Yeah, it's all right, man. That's exactly why we're here, and it's totally fine. And And look, we've got, and I completely agree with you. Marvel's at the point where the content that's coming out is, it's not for everybody. Like for myself, like I loved Moon Knight, but I didn't really like Miss Marvel because it's targeted at two different people of audience that those two
Yes.
shows are.
Yeah.
And I probably will really like Secret Invasion, but I probably won't like Miss Marvel. Sorry, the Marvels.
The Marvels, yeah. See, for me, in everything, there's something that I've enjoyed. Like there's stuff in Miss Marvel that I enjoyed, there's stuff I didn't. There's stuff I enjoyed in Moon Knight, there's stuff that I didn't. There's gonna be stuff in the Marvels. There's She-Hulk. I enjoyed all of She-Hulk, but there's gonna be stuff in the Marvels that I'm not gonna like. But there's gonna be stuff that I do, and that's what it is. That's what it's called being a fan.
Exactly. Good. You should tell them like good luck. Go jump the fence and go watch DC, and then come back to us. Then come back.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to see something that's in a shambles.
Yeah,
that doesn't know what they're doing.
No,
that doesn't treat the characters with the respect.
No, one of the best. I can't remember. It's a spoof show or something, and it's the opening. You know how DC you do the opening and they show you all the different characters, like their version of the Marvel intro. I saw someone commented going, DC, they show the intro with the faceless characters because they also don't know who's playing who.
That's amazing. That's so true. That's so true.
Well, we don't have a Superman at all. But also with Guardians of the Galaxy, speaking of Marvel, we'll get our first F word for the first time in since 2008. Marvel will drop the F-bomb in Guardians of the Galaxy. That royalty has gone to James Gunn's movie.
Which makes sense.
That will go to that, which I think the is also online already. And what else I say? Right. Oh, they're going to make Beetlejuice 2. That's apparently in the works. I'm sure.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm pretty sure those talks have been going on for a very long time.
Yeah, for probably about 30 years.
Yeah.
It's been going, so I'll believe it.
Rumor is that Michael Keaton's going to come back, and they're going to get Jenna Ortega to play Winona Ryder's daughter.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. I'll say I'm not going to hold my breath because I'll pass out.
No. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's really nothing much big news. Did you also, it's really, I watched the trailer, the tease of the Twisted Metal TV show.
I watched it just before we come in. I've got no real skin in the game because I never really played the games. But it looks okay. They had to do a little money shot at the end of the clown. You can't do Twisted Metal without the clown. It'll be interesting to see what it is. It's not at the top of my pile.
Well, I don't think it's on the top of a lot of people's pile. I think the reason why people are clamoring to this a lot is because it's been a very long time since we've got a Twisted Metal game. Like the last Twisted Metal game was on PlayStation 3. So I'm talking about 2009 or 2010 since we got the last game. And pretty much, the game, for anyone who doesn't know what the game is, it's a legacy game like Crash. Pretty much for PlayStation. It's been there ever since the first PlayStation 1. And you got in the car, you got random weapons, you were able to destroy each other, and you could also destroy some of the town, but all the characters were like messed up, like the clown or serial killers, and it was everyone had their own story, it was messed up. And then every game kept increasing on that.
Yeah.
So this new TV show, which is in America, is premiering on the Peacock streaming service. As far as I know, for Australia, it will be Stan.
Stan, right? That makes sense.
Because I know that the Continental, which is the John Wick prequel TV show that's on Peacock, will be on Amazon for us.
Right. Okay.
Because for Australia, we don't have Peacock, we don't have HBO Max. We have a wonderful thing called Binge, which no one I know actually uses that willingly.
Yeah, I did to watch The Last of Us.
Well, that's it. That's The Last of Us. That's the only reason I actually opened an account.
Yeah.
Same with the reason why I got Paramount Plus was to watch a Halo TV show, which I wish I didn't.
I didn't even bother.
No, don't.
But judging by my previous comments about Xbox and stuff, I was never going to watch Halo.
Yeah. No, I didn't think you would either. And it's so funny because, hey, this is you got a lead character. He doesn't take his helmet off. Okay. First episode of the show.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I'm like, look at the Mandalorian. That's how you have a lead character who doesn't take his flipping mask off, which actually this last season he didn't at all.
Yeah, because he was filming The Last of Us at the same time, so it was pretty much just John Wayne's grandson, who is the body double for Din Djarin in the show, and there's another guy that does it. But yeah, they were just on set the entire time. Pedro was not there. He just did his thing, probably via Zoom.
You need me to do some voices. Well, actually, with the Mandalorian ending last week, that ends, I think, the 8-week or 9-week run, which was the Pedro Pascal
of Daddy.
Yeah. Was it Daddy is a lifestyle, it's a state of mind, or some crap like that?
It's so funny. He's become internet's daddy.
Daddy. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pull the plug, mate, because I got to get dressed and get to Sydney.
No, that's right. That was my.
I'm so sorry.
My last bit of news. No.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was actually the last piece of news I had. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here, man, and thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
I'm watching this. Just to let you know that my friend, Marcus Michael Words, is currently doing a cashy, and he's watching our show on the roof.
Be careful. Don't fall.
Yeah. But no, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show, especially right before you go away. I can't wait until we get to do this again. You'll always have a spot on the show to come on in future.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me, and I'll come back on whenever you want. Next time with a better laptop, so I don't have to do this through my phone, which ended up working out all right at the end. But again, thank you for having me on. I've had an absolute blast. It was super fun. Hopefully, your viewers and your listeners like hearing me rattle off some garbage, which that's what I probably did.
No, anytime you want to rant, this is the place to be. We just got another one. Said Mr. Mark Word says clear reception on the roof and great episode, boys.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mark my words. And Lee, thank you again.
Happy to. I'm glad I'm glad I could be your very first podcast as a guest, because it sounds like to me you're about to go on a streak on guesting on other people's podcasts. So I'll probably see you in the next couple of weeks. You're going Why So Serious, The Truth Tank.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So I'd like to say thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Thank you for everyone listening. And until next time, happy ranting.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.